The legend of spirit doubles can be traced back thousands of years and was present in many cultures of the past. Perhaps the most well-known reference to spirit doubles or alter egos is the doppelganger, a word still used today to refer to a person that is physically or behaviorally similar to another person. But what is the origin of the doppelganger? And do they really exist? And moreover, what do they want? Let's try and find out.
Hello, I'm Mike Droberg, a Marine Corps veteran and filmmaker, and we will try to answer these questions on today's episode of Forgotten History.
Doppelganger is a German word for double goer and refers to a wraith that casts no shadows and is a replica of a living person. They were considered harbingers of bad luck or even omens of impending doom. A doppelganger seen by a person's relative or friend was said to signify that illness or danger would befall that person, while seeing one's own doppelganger was said to be an omen of death. Some accounts of doppelgangers suggest that they might attempt to provide advice to a person they shadow, but that this advice can be misleading or malicious. They may also attempt to plant sinister ideas in the victim's mind to cause fear or confusion. For this reason, people were advised to avoid speaking with their doppelganger at all costs. The subject of the double has a long history, particularly in Greek literature. In Greek mythology, Narcissus falls in love with his reflection, and that's where we get the word narcissist. In Norse folklore, they describe entities known as bardagar, ghostly beings that preceded their living counterparts, taking their places at various activities and performing their actions in advance. The spirit would have the subject's footsteps, voice, scent, or appearance, and overall demeanor, and would precede them in a location or activity, resulting in witnesses believing they had seen or heard the actual person before the person physically arrives. This bears a subtle difference from the doppelganger, with a less sinister connotation. People from the Orkney Island in Scotland feared a small fairy-like creature called trolls. According to legend, trolls would give birth to children who were apt to be sickly. Therefore, pregnant women were carefully guarded from the trolls, who would often steal healthy human babies and replace them with their own children, known as changelings, who would transform into exact replicas of the stolen children. Many Native American creation myths likewise have similar legends. The Hopi refer to twins who were called the child of the sun and the child of water. The Hopi also believed in the duality of the upper world and the underworld. That is, whatever is happening here in the upper world, the opposite is happening in the underworld. One of the most famous depictions of doppelgangers comes from the 1851 sketch and 1864 watercolor called How They Met Themselves by Dante Gabriel Rossetti. The painting depicts two medieval lovers walking through the woods at twilight when they encounter their doubles, who glow supernaturally. The man draws his sword in astonishment, while his lover appears to collapse in shock. While doppelganger cases are said to be works of fiction, there are a number of real-life cases in which individuals claim to have met their sinister double. Among the most noteworthy is Abraham Lincoln's experience, as chronicled by Noah Brooks in his book, Washington in Lincoln's Time, 1895. According to his account, soon after Lincoln was elected in 1860, he arrived home one day and looked into the bureau mirror, where he saw himself reflected in double. Lincoln said, "Nearly at full length, but my face had two separate and distinct images." Lincoln noticed that although the images were nearly identical, one was a little paler, say 5 shades, than the other. His wife was said to be very worried and told Lincoln she believed that the paleness of half the dual image was a bad omen. Lincoln would live to serve his first full term, but not live to finish his second. Percy Bysshe Shelley was a brilliant poet in his own right. Although he's mainly remembered as the husband of Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein, one would assume that Mary, the horror writer, would have been the one to see the ghosts and monsters, but it was in fact Percy who witnessed the doppelgangers. Shortly before Percy drowned in a sailing accident in 1812, he confessed to Mary that he had met his doppelganger many times. These confrontations included one particularly haunting experience where he walked into a terrace only to be greeted by his doppelganger, who asked him, "How long do you mean to be content?" Strangely, Percy's doppelganger was also witnessed by his close friend Jane Williams, who saw it passing by her window on a route frequently walked by Percy to a dead end but never returning. Another famous tale comes from Catherine the Great, the powerful 18th century Empress of Russia, who was known to be stoic and a dangerous figure. She was not fazed by small matters, such as seeing her own ghostly doppelganger take over her throne. It is said that one night, Catherine was lying in her bed when worried servants told her they had just seen her enter the throne room. When Catherine set out to investigate, she found her doppelganger sitting calmly on her throne. Catherine immediately told her sentries to shoot at her ghostly double. The stories don't tell us whether the bullets had any effect on the spectral empress, but the doppelganger did disappear after the encounter. However, Catherine died soon afterwards, in her sleep from a stroke. Yet another monarch to see their doppelganger was Queen Elizabeth I of England, who reigned from 1558 to 1603, and was the last of the Tudor dynasty to rule the country. Widely recognized as a charismatic, level-headed, and savvy monarch, she was the kind of person one wouldn't expect to dabble with the paranormal. According to the Queen, the spectral Elizabeth was lying motionless on her bed, almost like a corpse laid out for a presentation. The experience was particularly haunting to her, because she knew that such appearances are said to be a certain sign of death, but she perhaps thought it to be a figment of her imagination caused by her elderly, stressed-out mind. Yet Queen Elizabeth II died soon after seeing the doppelganger from blood poisoning. But is there any real truth to the doppelganger? Why, yes there is, although perhaps not a nefarious one. With the advent of social media, there have been several reported cases of people finding their twin stranger online, a modern term for the doppelganger. There are several websites where users can upload a photo of themselves, and facial recognition software attempts to match them with another user of like appearance. Some of these sites reports they have found numerous living doppelgangers. In scientific applications, research has found that people who are true lookalikes have more similar genes than people who do not look like each other. They share genes affecting not only the face, but also some of their physique and behavior. While many today still believe in the existence of an evil double self, some scientists believe that the phenomenon occurs based on stimulation to certain parts of the brain, which causes errors in spatial reasoning. Others believe it is the result of a vision, hallucination, or that we live in a parallel universe in which everything in this world is replicated in another dimension. Whatever the truth behind doppelgangers, their legend has instilled both fear and wonder in people for thousands of years. Let us know in the comments if you have ever had experience with a doppelganger.
Thank you for watching Forgotten History. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any comments or show ideas, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks again.